Gabi, to the Dean of the College of Management and Technology, Dr. Almapreda Labos, and to our faculty and staff who are here. Muy buenos dias a todos and good morning. And of course to the staff of the Research and Extension Office, thank you so much for the support that you have accorded in the hosting of this activity. We are very much happy that you came over. You bravely came over to Zamboanga City to be part of this activity. And we are very much honored to be of your presence. Of course, this morning, it's a little bit challenging position because of the weather disturbances. But we will try our best to do this activity and of course to support our students in everything that we do. The conduct of this activity is one manifestation that we are one with you in support of this activity. And we will always be part of the Department of Science and Technology and of course with the Bureau of Fisheries, the Department of Agriculture in the conservation of our natural resources. More so, Zamboanga City College of Marine Sciences and Technology has always been in the front line in the conservation of our natural resources. Not only for fisheries, but of course in all other aspects as to what we can extend as an institution. Our students will always be part of the entire process because what we are doing in this institution, the end point of that is our products. And of course, I'm very much honored to, of course, welcome one of our alumnus, our very own Mayor of Cebuco, Mayor, buenos dias, and of course, thank you so much for coming back to your alma mater. Of course, Mayor Joel Ventura. Si Mayor has been always be with us, and of course, we will always be in support of the development of this municipality. And with that, in behalf of our officer in charge, who is now in Manila, actually, they are now attending the budget hearing. That is why I opted to stay, and I said I would stay because we also have more things to be done in the city or in Zamboanga City. As they are there, depending our budget, we are here to cater and to support what the need might be. And of course, this is one major event of the school that we don't want to pass. And with that, again, warm greetings to everyone, and thank you so much for being here. Godspeed to everyone.
Thank you very much, sir. At this juncture, ladies and gentlemen, to give us the rationale of this. Magandang umaga po sa lahat. Good morning. First and foremost, I'd like to thank everyone for coming today. I know it's not a very nice weather to meet us, tapos galing lang tayo sa long weekend. So medyo intentional po ang pagbangon today, and thank you for showing up. Today we are opening Siyensya para sa Saganang Yaman, which simply stands for Sustainability Through Science. In the absence of science, any intervention cannot be claimed as impactful unless may patunay, unless may resibo. And today we would like to open this event. 2 weeks po ito, and actually this is the year 2 of Siyensya. Last year we opened up the activity with the idea na mag-normalize, that everybody would embrace the idea that science will have to be the driving force of the steps we are yet to make. At the end of the day, kailangan data-driven tayo. And so last year, we were able to promote sa mga estudyante namin paano tayo mamili ng research topics, paano yung mga projects ikakanda. And this year, we are very grateful that through the help of the UST NRCP, we have with us an ocean biologist who will be a resource for a year. Palakpakan po natin ang NRCP. Siyensya stands for Siyensya para sa Saganang Yaman, means that we need science, not just a concept, but the empowering effect of science in our daily lives. And through our RD leader, Dr. Willie Campos, through the enabling partnership of the UST, salamat po sa pondo, but at the same time, sa platforms na pinoprovide ng DOST, pwede natin pagyamanin kung anong meron tayo. Zamboanga Peninsula is strategically positioned in terms of geopolitical, resource-wise, and the manpower it has. Sana makapitalize natin yun. And so this morning, again, sustainability through science. Later on, our RDO Director, Research and Development Office Director, Ma'am Aldette Navarro will walk you through the events involved sa ating siyensya. But keep this in mind, that sana tuloy-tuloy ang ating partnership. If we distill the 17 SDGs, magbo-boil down po yun sa people, planet, prosperity, peace, and partnership. Lahat yun tuhog ng RDB project. At maraming salamat kasi nandito kayo, and we hope that the rest of the week, ang idea is, for the RIE, the Research, Innovation, and Extension Office stands for 3 things. Engage partners, the communities. We're grateful kay Mayor na napakaagang dumating. We engage community leaders, not only engage them, but empower not just our community as an academe, but our neighbors as well. And in the process of empowering everyone, madali na lang i-achieve yung enrichment ng societies. We can be part of different societies, but collectively we're part of Zamboanga Peninsula society. And so if everyone is enriched, mas madali pong magbigay sa kapwa, mas madali pong tumulong, at lahat tayo, mas mapag-iigi ang ating servisyo. And so today, once again, thank you very much for coming, and I hope the rest of the engagement through Sensea would be engaging, empowering, and of course, enriching for all. Once again, good morning.
That's a little historical walkthrough about how this came to be. So, when I met with Doc Lufa in 2022 December, parang almost 1 year pa ulit bago kami nagkausap. So, it was a very, I would say, relatively long effort to really reach out because we wanted to really expand our reach in Region 9. Because for the record, for those that will be attending the workshop later, I will run you through a bit of how we have been doing for the past 6 years. And Region 9 has been our least supported region in terms of number of engagement. So prior to this engagement, we only had one RDB engagement in Region 9, and that was with Ateneo de Zamboanga. And since then, we've been on a mission, me and my team and the whole NRCP, to provide more or to have more RDB engagements in Region 9 because we want to be able to spread out or help spread out the resources available from the DOST. Because as you know, DOST as an agency has barely scratched the surface when it comes to reaching institutions in the country. So we have more than 2,400 HTIs, including ZSE MST. And out of that 2,400, DOST has only been able to support through funding for research around 200 HTIs. So napaka-kaunti pa po na naaabot ng DOST. And we want RDB to be an instrument to help decentralize the funding a little more. And I know ZSE MST has had history of projects in DOST. So hopefully in the course of our engagement with Dr. Campos and our activities later in the coming days and next week, we hope to meet, sana nandito pa sila, no, yung mga project leaders ng mga projects na dating napondohan ng DOST. But I don't know, but maybe we'll find out as we go along. But hopefully nandito pa sila. And sa NRCP naman, I think wala pa kaming projects dito, no, sa ZSE MST. So we're also hoping to be able to fund projects na mag-a-align sa ating National Integrated Basic Research Agenda, which my Chief Research Science Specialist, si Ms. Bears, will be discussing later in the afternoon. So kung meron po kayong mga research interests that you want to explore on how they can be funded, sana po mapag-usapan natin, and hopefully in our next call cycle, magkaroon po tayo ng approved project for ZSE MST under then the mentorship ni Dr. Willie Campos. And I've been scouting some literature last night before here, and I think there's a lot that we can work on. Yesterday, we had a chance to do a little field work at Santa Cruz Island, and we were exploring a lot of research ideas from biodiversity to livelihood, tourism, etc. So when I came back to the hotel yesterday, nag-scout ako ng sa Scopus database and about Santa Cruz Island. But unfortunately, I don't know, but maybe just in that database, no, walang lumalabas na publication about the island's biodiversity or anything like that. So when I tried to change the keyword to Zamboanga City, lo and behold, so we have around, I think I found around 80 papers in Scopus pertaining to research done that has Zamboanga City as the site. So, of course, I'll be happy to share that later, but hindi ko na po yan ano. But we're very happy that I think I found a couple of faculty members from CSE MST being able to publish there. So hopefully through the RD, ma-increase natin yung presence natin sa Scopus. I mentioned that to the PRUVA, and in that regard, ma-increase natin yung reputation po ninyo as a research player, not just in Region 9 in Mindanao, but even in the whole country. And we're appreciative of the fact that we have a marine protected area sa Santa Cruz Island. So we hope to be able to contribute more through NRCP funding and support, which Ms. Bess will also discuss, para mapayaman pa natin. Sabi nga niyo, mapayaman, not just the fish, but all your resources. Mas masaya kung all the resources. And for this RD, we're thankful and grateful for the opportunity to bring to you Dr. Willie Campos, that will serve as your mentor, tatay, advisor, consultant for 1 whole year and even beyond. It really depends on how you make the most out of our collaboration and your relationship with him. Kasi may mga RD leaders kami like in Tawi-Tawi, they've gone beyond the mentorship. Kasi nung umalis, nag-usap, naging ino na din sa kasal ng mga researchers, naging bisita, naging everything. So I hope Doc Willie is up for that challenge too. So, but kidding aside, we appreciate these types of development because yun naman po yung gusto namin. Ayaw namin magbigay ng RD leader sa inyo na parang transactional lang. Pagkatapos ng contract na mo, wala nang pakialam sa inyo. So ayaw po namin nun. That's why we're also very selective in terms of who we reach out to as to provide as RD leaders. Kasi gusto namin, although meron tayong obligasyon, which I will discuss later, yun po ay mag-go beyond that because it's the only way we can sustain. Sabi ni Ma'am Rufa kanina, sustainability. So sa RD lead, we're also after sustainability because we don't want this a one-shot hit, no, na i-train kayo tapos after 1 year, goodbye na. So, asahan niyo po na simulan na natin ito, lagi po kami mamukulit sa inyo at maningingin na kung ano-anong pwedeng singilin para bigyan naman natin kayo ng support. So, that will be our commitment. Sa NRCP, konti lang din yung members namin sa bahala dyan. So, but we're very grateful for the opportunity to network with you, work with you through the RD Lead. And hopefully, this will be the start of something more productive and more meaningful for all of you, the faculty. And hopefully, through this, mas matulungan namin kayo mabuti in terms of your professional growth and development. Now that we understand very critical ang research sa inyong promotion and also research into sa community involvement and research also in empowering our communities. And hopefully, with the presence of our LGUs here, the partners, marami po tayong magawa during and more importantly, after the event. So on that note, allow me to extend my congratulations to President Halon and the whole CSE MST team for putting up this event, Fish Conservation Week and the Maritime Week next week. So marami tayong lalanguyin at sisisiring mga oportunidad at mga ideya. So with that, marami pong salamat and God bless us all. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Mar Filita. This time, ladies and gentlemen, for our keynote speaker's message, we have with us our DOST and RCP RD leader, Dr. Wilfredo L. Campos.
It's also part of the country's region where we have most of the seaweed production as well. But aside from this, of course, natin ang Puranza is also from here and many other commodities. which represent potential, have a lot of potential for further development, which also represents also the potential for studying and getting information and developing these resources. So one of the first steps that I need to undertake with my engagement is to conduct an institutional research readiness level assessment of the university. And the office of VP UFA provided me with a lot of information on facilities, faculty profile, research agenda, researches that have been completed, publications. So I will just try to go over the initial findings and then try to give some initial inputs to this assessment. So there are, correct me if I'm wrong, there are about close to 140 faculty in the university. And many have advanced degrees. I think most have advanced degrees, masters, but many also have doctorate degrees in different fields. Also the different programs that the university offers. Of the close to 140 faculty, the Swedish field, which are medyo maliit but about more than half, 53% are in the area of education. Of course, by variety of education. But most are in education, about 12% in maritime education and also maritime technology education, some in engineering and related to maritime studies. Management and home economics, about 16%. And fisheries related, about 11%. Marami naman fields actually of fisheries. But these are the major areas of interest of the university. Makita natin sa pie chart, these are the other areas of interest are medyo minor. But definitely are part of the profile, faculty profile of the university. It is also important. The age distribution, I'm just showing this. It's important because it shows us what our current profile is and what the prospects of future service in the university. The potential for future service in terms of years also represents the potential for achieving that learning curve, maintaining that, and developing that further in terms of conducting research that is not only critical but also very important to the region. And because there are resources here that are not just of regional importance, but also national importance. A lot of your work has very high potential for national relevance as well. Okay, so that the age groups here are arbitrary, but the pie chart here, upper right, shows that about 38% of the faculty in the university are about 40 years or younger. That means they have maybe 20 to 30 years of service. Okay. So you potential medyo, for not just attaining that learning curve, but also developing it further. Okay. Another 25% are the age bracket of 41 to 50, so they're about 10 to 20% years of service. And about 28% with about 10 years of service. Okay. So this is nothing to do with age per se, but really with the potential for development, looking forward. Okay? So, in terms of the academic education and the other fields of under the programs that are offered by the university, they actually have a role also in providing a more comprehensive handle of fisheries here in our area. And that's also one thing that we wish to explore. Not just the fisheries, not just the faculty or researchers and the programs that are directly related to fisheries, but those that are relevant to fisheries, but whose expertise are also important. Understanding better other aspects that are part of our fisheries. Okay, so of the 16 faculty who are directly working in fisheries-related studies or research or work, about 44% are PhDs. 25% have masters in aquaculture or aquaculture technology, and about 31% or 5 faculty members have masters of science. I think traditionally the master of science degree requires a thesis, full-scale thesis, whereas a master's degree in aquaculture, for example, or aquaculture technology requires a less lengthy, less comprehensive special program. But in any case, now 16 out of the 137 so faculty members in the university are work related to fisheries, all of them with graduate degrees. Let's look at the age distribution again. And the age distribution shows that about 43%, close to half, of the faculty in fisheries-related work have about 30 to 40 years of service. Okay, so it represents a very encouraging potential for further developing that. So what I natin is we get to a stage where you can improve and enhance your current capabilities, and then for you to continue doing that. Okay. So there's 3 to 4 decades of that with at least half of the faculty in this area. Okay. Another 51% with still a good number of years of service, 10 to 20 years. Okay. Marami pa nagagawa ng 10 to 20 years. Siguro medyo limitado na lang is yung 1 year. Okay. Pero yung 10 to 20 years pa lang. Okay, in terms of faculty, fisheries faculty, the fields of experience needed, but about 31% or 5 of the 16 of working or couple degrees that have marine biodiversity or even marine biology. So medyo, marami din kasi might have different undergraduate degrees and DS degrees, but kasi this is the most recent degree that was graduate degree that was completed. So about 31% in marine biology, marine biodiversity, about 56% in aquaculture or aquaculture technology, and about 13% in food tech, fish processing, and also biotech as well. Okay, so these are the 3 fields that in fisheries that our faculty are in. But again, there are many other faculty in university that should actually get involved eventually in looking at fisheries in general in the region. Okay, so publications, in terms of researches, bigay na kasi sa akin, this is completed research as of 2023. So, and external funds na ito, yung nabigay sa akin information. So I think I'm going to summarize it here. They're in different fields also. I think two of them have to do with fisheries and biodiversity in general. One had to do with the bird sanctuary, and I think a conservation area, I think within the campus. Not sure, but that was one grant. Another grant on fisheries related studies, and then another grant on education. Okay, but what I'm showing here is the publications, which reflects also the areas where we have ongoing work to build up the expertise. Because when we publish, the work is usually based on primary information, which we gather through research. So that pag may research na ginagawa ng publications na nabubuo from the research, it's a good indication of how the different areas of expertise are being developed by the faculty and researchers of the university. Okay, so the breakdown here, most again are in different aspects of education, from elementary all the way to tertiary level education, and many subject areas as well. Okay, but those in the different shades of blue, aquaculture, capture fisheries, and biology, only about 10%. Okay. About 10%. So on the upper right-hand side, I'm showing the topics of publications color-coded from 2016 to 2023. Leftmost bar, and then 2023 to the rightmost bar. And then black line shows you the number of publications per year. Okay, so very clearly, if you look at this graph, from 2020 onwards, in the past 4 years, or if you were close to 5 years, so the number of publications has increased. Okay. And the increase is most substantial in 2022 to 2023. Malaki pa rin matapos sa 2024, pero when the information was given to me, parang kalahati pa rin ng 2024 matapos. So hindi ko sama dito ng 2024. Okay, and the different colors of each bar represents the different areas of interest. No? So very clearly, in 2022 and 2023, there was a very substantial increase in the diversity of topics, of research and or studies that collected primary information and publishing this information. Okay, and it shows an increasing trend. We hope that we can enhance this further. Okay, not just with these fields here, but perhaps with other fields as well. Okay, so again, more than 50% of the publications have to do with education. I think education, we have not really traditionally in the country. We have not really involved people in education or in the area of education in fisheries work. But I think paulit-ulit na rin siguro nasabi sa inyo, and I think for many of you, you also realize that many times our technical information from the studies that we do, although present natin sa mga tao, ordinary people, or even policy makers, more important policy makers. Sometimes, well, oftentimes we have the feeling that we're not explaining it well enough. And fisheries management in general, we need, of course, policy makers to be able to craft policies that will guide how fisheries fishery resources are to be used by ordinary fishermen or by even commercial sectors. But equally important is we need to communicate with the fishers themselves. Okay. Some of them may be highly educated, some of them may be owners of companies and creators of companies. Many of them, 80 to 90% of them, are small-scale fishers. Okay. And we need to be able to convince them. We need to be able to make them understand. Because if they accept what is needed to be done, then that already takes care of a large portion of the challenge. And we have not been very successful in conveying those messages, our results, and our messages to the people who come. And I think, in my personal opinion, I think the educators, that is their expertise. They know how to talk to different, from children to high school students, and even to adults of different walks of life. And maybe they should be engaged more. And I hope we can try to do this also in the next year. Okay, another area was socioeconomics, 10 to 15%. So this is not just in the fisheries or marine environment, but also terrestrial and farming systems as well. Okay, biotech, just recently, actually, in 2022 and 2023, that's the yellow portion of the bar. It's still increasing. It's one of the fields that is increasing rapidly. And it's also one of the fields that we can be globally competitive. We have a lot of raw material, a lot of resources. We need to be able to put together the technologies, to the innovations, so that if we can process these raw materials, more of the processing, more of even the synthesis that can be done here, then we can export these finished products in the future. Right now, we already semi-process them, we export the semi-processed material, and then we import the finished products which we need for our food industry. Maybe here in the university is a promising field also. In fisheries-related or biology-related studies, only 10 to 15%. This is very basic information in terms of fisheries. Although my engagement here has to do with the biology, ecology, and also the use of fisheries of marine resources. In my experience, the portion of fisheries and biology is important, very basic, but there are many, many other aspects that are important for the industry. And we hope that we can contribute substantially to the industry, because a large part of the fishing industry of the country actually that is important not just to the Philippines as a country, but also globally, because we export a lot of the products that are also sourced here in this region. So there's really a very large potential for contributing to this. But we need very basic information also. So we'd like to see also an increase in contributions of in these areas of interest, fisheries and biology. Because there are also so many commodities in resources in this region. I realize there are also many other institutions, academic institutions here in Zamboanga City or neighboring in the southern Zamboanga Peninsula area and the southern Zamboanga. And there are so many things to do actually with Makayan as a university. So aside from building up our capabilities here, we should be also actively pursue collaborations with our partners in the region. And not just partners in the region, partners in other parts of the country, and also possible collaborations with other universities in the country. We start with our university here and then work towards that with that as our maybe our long-time goal. But sana hindi wish list yun. Ako, I make a distinction between a wish list, no, and a dream. A wish list, you just name whatever it is. And then, hayaan mo yun. Nalista mo na yun. You forget about it, makakalimutan mo na yun. Yung dream, basta hindi nightmare. Yung dream, baka pwede paulit-ulit yun. Until you actually realize parts of it. So it builds. So sana, whatever we start in the next year, in the next several months or so, we've actually already started. So you can see here the publications, which is already an indication of your productivity in your work. The past 2 years, kasama in 2024, we already see a very substantial and rapid increase in the diversity and the number of publications. Okay, we need to enhance this more, and hopefully we have a long-term goal of improving that further and developing that further by enhancing our capacities and capabilities here at the university and working with those outside of the university. I think you have to take that as far as I am so far.
Thank you very much, Dr. Wilfredo Campos. This time, ladies and gentlemen, for the
and maritime, we are reminded of our responsibility. This responsibility does not rest on any one group or institution, but it is a shared task. For us, policymakers, scientists, fisherfolk, even industry leaders and local communities alike. With this year's theme, Kaalaman, meaning knowledge, drive us better to understand the ecosystem and resources we depend on. This is why we also have different trainings and workshops and showcases of the different programs in the colleges at the ZSEMSP do. Kakayahan, meaning skills, equip us to apply what we know effectively and responsibly. And kabuluhan, purpose, remind us why all this matters, not just for today, but also for the future generations who will rely on the same resources we are tasked with protecting. So to walk us through with the 2-week event, we have in the first week, the 61st Fish Conservation Week. In the day 1, we have our opening. We also have simultaneously sa AVR, we have the B4 Teach and Learn. We also have tomorrow, the fish talks, the training, translating science into impacts, and day 3 to 5 is the CRM training. For the second week of this event, we have the 25th National Maritime Week. We have for the day 1 of the National Maritime Week, we have the opening. And at the same time, the CME will conduct mangrove site cleanup at Campus B, poster making contest, and stakeholders forum. We also have the feedbacking on the policy drafts, and film viewing will be conducted by the CNE and WISBO. And day 3 would be the feedbacking on the research proposals. We also have the simulator room exhibit and colloquium prototype exhibit. And day 4 and 5 would be another CRM training, and day 6 of September 28 would be the awarding and closing ceremony. You can also scan sa ating mga PubMats, nandun yung 2-week event schedule natin. So this event brings together researchers, innovators, students, and practitioners and exchange ideas, showcase technologies, and find ways to address the pressing challenges facing our fisheries and maritime sectors. From improving our understanding of marine biodiversity to developing sustainable practices, we are here to ensure that Science, data will lead the way in preserving the abundance of our seas. Let us use this occasion to learn from each other and commit to making meaningful strides in sustainability through science. Thank you, and I look forward for a productive and inspiring Siyensaya 2024. Maraming salamat.
Maraming salamat din po, Ms. Alder Ginabal. This time, to extend their message of support, we have the Chair of the Research, Development and Management Division, and our CP, we have Ms. Beverly White, May and De La Cruz.
Buenos dias a todos. Tama po ba? First time ko mag-Chapacano. So, first let me please acknowledge the presence of our officials and our guests. The Zamboanga State College of Marine Sciences and Technology. Okay. College President Dr. Jaime G. Halon. With nasa Senate Budget meeting po, just like our Executive Director. The CSMST Vice President for Research, Innovation, and Extension, Vicky Rufa. Our VP for Academic Affairs, Dr. Rachel. We have Dr. Rachel here. Our VP for Student Affairs, VP Roderick Rio. Director for Research and Development, Ms. Aldette Navarro. Dean of College of Fisheries and Marine Sciences, Dr. Oliver Tito, sir. And of course, we also have our partners from the LGU, our Cebu Municipality Mayor, Honorable Joel Ventura. Thank you for coming this morning and joining us in our important activity. And then we also have our partners from before NIDE, the Chief of Finance Administration, Glenn L. Boling, sir. Nasaan si sir? Sir, good morning po. And of course, we would also like to welcome our partners from various agencies, our participants from different colleges, and do we have our NRCP members today with us? Pwede pong i-raise your hand kung nandito, ayun. Kailan po, just a trivia po, kailan po nagkaroon ng first NRCP member here in ZSMST? Yun, tama po, 2022. So with that, we have 4 NRCP members. And lahat po sila, according to the research ni Mr. Murphy, ay under the Social Sciences Division. So, kanina po pinakita ni Dr. Campos yung breakdown ng mga expertise ng ating mga faculty and the works that they have done so far. And this is where NRCP is very excited. Kasi ito po yung opportunity that is waiting for us to deliver po namin yung mandate namin na aside from supporting basic research or fundamental research for knowledge generation, the role of NRCP in advancing the capacities, capabilities in terms of science and research ay nandito po at i-deliver namin to you. And various programs po ng DOST and NRCP. So this morning, our focus is the RD lead. Nakita po ni Murphy kanina yung what RD can offer. But beyond that, beyond the project timeline of RD, NRCP and even the DOST is really keen into supporting the development of our state universities and colleges, particularly in the regions. So marami po talagang funds when it comes to research, not just basic research, but applied human resources as well, na naghihintay po na itap ng ating mga state universities and colleges. And the first step to that is kailangan po ready yung ating mga potential researchers o yung ating mga faculty sa SOOCs or sa HEIs. This is where NRCP can also come into play by providing trainings, mentorships, and opportunities to implement or conduct research. So we have, of course, our RD leader through Dr. Wilfredo Campos, and we believe that this would be the first step talaga na dumami din yung members natin sa NRCP here in CSMST. And sana po, yung opportunity na nandito po si RD leader ay talagang i-grab din po when it comes to capacity building, yung mga trainings po, mga workshops, ay nakakatulong din po on a personal note para po sa inyo as body researcher or early career scientists or researchers as you build your expertise in this field. Marami po sa atin ang PhD holder na, and in order for us to imprint po yung ating scientific footprint, importante po talaga yung publication. So that's why kanina nag-focus din si RD leader natin po in providing you an overview when it comes to that aspect. We know that it may be challenging to publish, especially in international journals, but in the past implementation of RD, nasa second iteration na po ang RD ngayon. The first implementation 3 years ago, and we have the phase 2, yung RD FIRE, fostering innovation for research, ano ba, Marfi? Inclusive research, yun. Kasi po successful ang first iteration or phase 1 ng RDE. Marami po tayo natulungan ng mga state universities and colleges. Even big SUCs or HEIs such as UP are still requesting RD leaders. Kasi hindi pa po natatapos yung growth nila when it comes to building their capacities. Much more here sa regions na very important in yung role po in managing our environment, our ecosystem, and in sustaining this wealth. So, babalikan ko po yung framework ng DOST. We have the 4 pillars of DOST. First is the wealth creation. So, very wealthy po ang resources natin when it comes to marine. But as Dr. Campos mentioned earlier, hindi po natatapos sa marine resources lang. And with that wealth creation, we would also want to protect what we have created. Kung nag-create lang po tayo, pero yung protection ay hindi natin din binabantayan, it's a risk that is really very mahirap po hindi natin pansinin dahil po nakasalalay dito yung third pillar, which is the human well-being. So, improving the lives of the Filipino people through research or science, kailangan po ng efforts, collaborations, not just within the academic community, but also with our partners from the LGUs, from the policymakers, from different government agencies such as BIFAR, DNR, DA, and other private entities and NGOs. Gone are the days po na working in silos ng universities. Because the question now is yung pag-reach ng ating mga outputs and translating them into impacts na mararamdaman ng communities. So, napaka-strategic po ng location ng CSMST, and I was asking Mark earlier kung sino yung biggest university when it comes to SUCs dito sa Zamboanga, ay ito po ang CSMST. But you also have the private counterpart, and hindi po matatapos sa sa atin lang, sa loob lang. When we conduct research, we need collaboration kasi po mas pakikinggan tayo ng mga policy makers kung within us, nag-work tayo together with our partners, with different sectors, may buy-in na at the onset po ng crafting po ng isang research idea or research proposal. Because the problem is not just a problem of one organization or one institution. So, on behalf of our Executive Director, Dr. Bernardo Cepeda, who is also attending the Senate budget hearing today, kaya po wala siya sa atin ngayon, but he will visit CSMST soon. And we would like, of course, to provide or express our support to CSMST for its engagement under the RDD program. And rest assured that beyond the project timeline and beyond RDD, NRCP, and even DOST is here and waiting to be tapped in for opportunities when it comes to research funding. And later on, sana po nandito kayo until this afternoon so that you can be oriented on NRCP membership, how can you avail grants, and what opportunities are waiting for you when you enroll sa NRCP membership. So with that, we congratulate also CSMST for its Siyensya sa Yaman, Siyensya sa Yaman, Siyensya para sa Saganang Yaman. So ayan po, mayaman po ang Zamboanga with its resources, and kailangan na po natin alagaan siya and build our capacities through our RD program. So once again, buenos dias a todos.
Muchas gracias, Madam Beverly de la Cruz. This time, ladies and gentlemen, to also give his message of support, we have our Cebuco Municipal Mayor, Honorable Joel Ventura.
Buenos días a ustedes todos. So, good morning, President everyone. To our Dr. Rupa L. Mendez sa palaging doon sa Cebuco, conduct research, and Dr. Oliver Tito, sir, si Dr. Wilfrido Campos. Ngayon lang kami nakita, noon sa Zoom kami meeting. Kasi member din ako ng Fisheries Management Area 4, co-chairman. Sa ating lahat, no? Good morning. So, since the Cebuco government, local government units, may memorandum of agreement kami, memorandum of understanding between the Zamboanga State College of Marine Sciences and Technology with the on the research. And nagpapasalamat din kami kay Dr. na natapos na din yung engagement doon sa Cebuco. Pero hindi lang natapos doon, tuloy-tuloy pa rin. Kasi Cebuco, we need yung rehabilitation namin sa coastal resource management namin. Kasi for long years na parang devastated yung coastal namin dahil sa illegal fishing and other illegal activities doon. So since this is my second term as mayor sa Cebuco, so may malasakit din tayo sa coastal resource natin. Kasi isa din ako sa graduate ng Marine Fisheries way back 1985 dito sa dati po ito MRSF. Pero kami ang first graduate ng Zamboanga State College of Marine Sciences and Technology. So, we appreciate also the program on the research. Kasi gusto din namin yung coastal ng Cebuco, hindi lang sa Cebuco na maging maayos or ma-rehabilitate and maging contributors also sa food security. Kasi na Cebuco, may bay kami, tapos yung mga sardines, doon din, yung mga pelagic fishes, doon din. So, and we also nag-come up kami ng Fisher Folk Association. So, yun ang sabi ko, hindi ko mabigyan sila lahat ng trabaho, pero through association, through intervention sa livelihood programs, pwede namin mabigyan sila. Then, we subsidize also the Patay Dagat in every barangay. We have 28 barangays and 18 coastal barangays kami. So, yun po, mahaba yung karagatan ng Cebuco. So, we support the programs on this research, especially on fishery management. So, with that, thank you and good morning.
Maraming salamat po, Mayor. This time, we also would like to hear a message of support coming from the Bureau of Fisheries and Aquatic Resources Regional Office 9. We have the Chief of Finance and Administration, Mr. Glenn Bolle.
Hello, good morning. To our keynote speaker, Dr. Wilfredo Campos, sir. To our Cebuco Mayor, sir. Mayor... Wala po. Sorry, Mayor Honorable Ventura, sir. To Mr. Roderick E. Trio, Vice President for Student Affairs and Services, sir. To Dr. Rafael Mendez, Vice President for Research, Innovation, Extension, ma'am. To Mr. Marfi Lita, Project Senior Technical Specialist, BOST and RCP, sir. To Ms. Aldette D. Navarro, Director for Research and Development Office, ma'am. To Ms. Beverly May de la Cruz, the Chair for the Research, Development and Management Division and RCP. To Dr. Rachel Oriaga, Vice President for Academic Affairs, and Dr. Oliver Tito, Dean for the College of Fisheries and Marine Sciences. So first, I would like to apologize for coming in late, since we are still conducting our 61st Fish Conservation Week celebration. So the Bureau of Fisheries and Aquatic Resources is celebrating its 61st Fish Conservation Week, emphasizing the importance of collaboration between the government, stakeholders, and all sectors to ensure the sustainable protection of fisheries, the country's fishery resources. In achieving this goal, science plays a critical role. Protecting our fisheries involves various scientific principles and practices aimed at ensuring the sustainability of fish populations, and BFAR relies on science in shaping its policies and setting regulations for effective enforcement. Through our research arm, our NSAP and FRDI, who conducts stock assessments, studies, and analyzes population dynamics. Through our FRMS, team focuses on understanding the biology, life cycles, migration patterns, and habitats of various fish species. Most of all, our fisheries production and extension, through science, develops and promotes sustainable fishing gear, which reduces bycatch and minimize environmental damage. So with this, BFAR 9 remains steadfast in support of all efforts to protect, and conserve our fisheries. So BFAR naman, kahit anong request ng CCMSD, parati naman kami nandyan. So kami din, so kahit anong request din namin sa CCMSD, parati din sila nandyan para sa atin. So thank you for inviting BFAR and recognizing the role of BFAR in conserving our natural resources. So in behalf of our Regional Director, Sa Tayunding, thank you and good morning.
Thank you so much, Mr. Glenn Bolling from the BFAR Regional Office Line. Of course, kung meron po tayong message of support, meron din po message of commitment, and this will be given to us by our Vice Presidents. So may we have our Vice President for Academic Affairs, Dr. Rachel Laureaga, ma'am.
Greetings to everyone present here today, to the dignitaries, our resource person, Dr. Campos, si Ma'am Beverly de la Cruz, and si Sir Glenn Bolling from BFAR, at of course, kay Mayor Ventura, na alumnus pala ng ZSMST, nakaka-proud din yung advocacy niyo po. Again, good morning to all. I am tasked to give our commitment to this event, Ciencia 2024, and the 61st Fish Conservation Week. So our commitment as an academic institution, first, we are committed to educate our students, colleagues, and the community about the importance of fish conservation and its impact to life. Also, we are committed to emphasize in the instruction the importance of conservation of marine ecosystem for sustainability. We commit to continuously collaborate with stakeholders in the areas of education and awareness, capacity building, and promote sustainable fisheries management by offering curricula that addresses the need of present time. We support research initiatives focused on fish conservation, sustainable aquaculture practices, and innovative technologies for sustainability. Lastly, personal actions. Lead by example. Do what you say. Adapt household practices such as reducing plastic pollution, minimizing footprints to protect marine ecosystem. Alone, we can do so little, but together, we can do so much. Tandaan po natin, kaalaman, kakayahan, kapuluhan, ang dapat na ambag natin sa ating pamayanan at sa bayan. Maraming salamat po.
Thank you very much, Dr. Rachel Laureaga, our Vice President for Academic Affairs. This time, may we hear a message of commitment coming from our Vice President for Student Affairs and Academic Services. We have Mr. Roderick Vitrio.
We hope that we are looking at one vision board kasi at the end of the day, science has to serve the people. Gusto natin ng sustainability, definitely. Yung sustainability ng school, kailangan ma-achieve yun pag lahat tayo, we carry our way. So we commit to facilitating the initiatives of the colleges through practical application. Meron po kaming mga policies na kinakraft. Meron po kaming mga people, focal, na pwede niyong lapitan. At meron po kaming laging pa-training. Ayan, may tatlong OPs doon. May policies, may people, at laging may pa-training. So please, take chance, take the opportunity, seize every learning platform that we provide. Kasi kami po sa office, mas masaya pag marami tayo. So again, thank you very much. Let's make the most out of the engagement sa RB Lead. i-push na po natin ang ating mga estudyante through Enabler X at let's make the most out of Siya. Mas madaling magturo pag nag-enjoy yung mga bata. By the way, meron po tayong mga booths. Ang different programs, meron booths sa mga sa may dome. At meron po kanya-kanyang pa-exhibit. BFAR 9 has Teach and Learn. At meron silang info caravan. So should you be interested in terms of IUU, iba-ibang topics ang kanilang pa-lecture today, please feel free kasi madali lang mag-shopping talaga ng research topics. Yun yung excited kami na through this Siya, madami na kayong research topics tapos pag nag-training na tayo sa proposal writing, hindi na tayo magsisimula sa scratch. Ayan po, so maraming salamat. Meron kaming people, policies, at pa-training. Kami sa research office, excited to have you on board. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Dr. Rafael Mendez. We also would like to take this opportunity to present our plaque of appreciation and tokens to our speakers for this morning. Let me read the citation. Saya 2024, Siyensya para sa Saganang Yaman, plaque of appreciation is awarded to Dr. Wilfredo L. Campos in grateful recognition of his invaluable support in advancing fisheries and maritime initiatives in Zamboanga Peninsula to serve the people, protect our planet, and achieve sustainable prosperity. Your active partnership to the institution's efforts in building a proactive and productive research, innovation, and extension community has been instrumental to its present and future successes. Signed, Danilo P. Cortesa, DPA, OIC College President. We also would like to request our Vice President for Academic Affairs and Vice President for Student Affairs and Academic Services to please be with our Vice President for Research, Innovation, and Extension for the presentation of tokens and plaque presentations.
Yung white gamitin mo. Okay, ito yan sir.
Same plaque of appreciation is awarded to Murphy H. Lita. Same plaque of appreciation is awarded to Dr. Bernardo Cepeda. On behalf of Dr. Cepeda, we have Miss Beverly May and De La Cruz. Same plaque of appreciation is awarded to Cebu Municipal Mayor Honorable Joel Ventura. And same plaque of appreciation is awarded to Mr. Glenn Bolling from Bureau of Fisheries and Aquatic Resources, Regional Office 9. Thank you so much to our speakers for this morning. Thank you so much to our Vice President for Academic Affairs, Vice President for Student Affairs and Academic Services, the Vice President for Research, Innovation and Extension, and Director of the Research and Development